We should be live already.
Hello, future people, and
Hello.
present people as well.
Uh, uh, hard to say. Can somebody check if you're alive or not? Yeah, my
Let
player
me
is
see.
broken. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, wow. I can check it, I think. What is it? Twitch.
Dr.Nekoma.
Wait, is a projectile an object?
Dr.Nekoma, yes. We are live.
Magetta, what do you say?
Sorry. What do I say about? I was looking at the
Is a
live.
projectile an object?
All right. So I think it will depend on how we want to represent them as a disposable thing or not, right?
Yeah,
Because I'm
so
thinking here.
I think it's better to do top down because doing the projectile first would be bottom up. So I would like to start making it by making it enum, believe it or not. And then we're gonna make an
Enum,
enum
you mean
called
to store the types of projectile?
spell type. So the first spell type that I think matters is the projectile type. Then we have the one
Uh,
that is area
Why not go with like the
above.
Bethesda Morrowind style
I
of
don't
stuff?
know that. Not
Like
very well versed in that.
conjuration, destruction, and then you
Ooh.
have like a thing that works on a target or not, right? And
Okay.
then you have a mode on the target, like on touch or although on touch are a bit stupid, but
Wait.
on
So
touch or
let's go.
projectile.
Let's go back to what you said. So you said conjuration. What would be the type? That conjuration.
A conjuration, you are conjuring something, right?
Mhm.
So you
Mhm.
you create a weapon, something like that.
Okay. What was the other one?
The other one is
I
destruction.
Aninho.
So it's vomiting.
I don't think that's like I'm not sure how useful that classification is from a mechanical standpoint.
Yeah, mechanically, I think it might be for example, conjuration. You make a weapon, right? So I mean, you can make a weapon. That would depend on the spell in particular.
Yeah.
So uh,
No, but I think this works fine, Maninho. You know why? Because we're gonna
No.
have a type. This will be there will be a table called Lyceum spell, in which one of the fields will be the type, the other one will be the duration, the other one will be the target, and well, we're gonna have to see.
I think
Uh,
this is too ambitious. Let's backtrack one step.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying that mechanically this doesn't seem very useful is because fundamentally, what are the ways in which you can use an ability or a spell or whatever? You
as
can
as
click
far
the
as I can
ability
tell,
and
these three.
well, you can click the ability and it just goes off around you. That's one option.
That's an area type of spell.
In
No,
an
it's a self cast
area,
actually.
No,
speed of
if it
movement.
happens around you, it's an area in which you are the center point.
Because what I'm getting at is you can click on the ability and it just goes off immediately. You can click on the ability and then you have to select an area. You can click on the ability and then you have to select the actual final target. You can click on it and pick a direction and shoot in whatever direction you chose. Um, what else?
Yeah, I think all you said are these three types. That's why I was thinking about using those three. Because regardless if you need to select an area or if it's gonna be an area in which you are the center, that's an area type.
But
If you
the point about the you click the button and the ability just goes off, it doesn't necessarily have to affect an area. It could just affect yourself.
so that's a buff.
But mechanically there's no difference between you click the button and something happens around you, or you click the button and something happens to you. Like
No, it mechanically, fundamentally actually is different because in one of them we're gonna interpret as like the buff or the event happening in a certain area in which may involve more people, not only you. And in a specific case of a buff, you can target yourself. With your example, right? So you press a button and the spell only affects you, or it may be a spell that you can affect other characters, and then you need to select a target. That's 100% different, man. The way that we're gonna interpret these two things. The effects that we're gonna provoke in the world, those are separate. We're gonna need to do those separately.
I think we can start by doing simpler things. One of
Such
them,
as,
uh, one of these simpler things we can do is to just like try to make generic uh, things. Like for example, we're probably gonna need to have some spell book, right? To know all the spells, to catalog all of them. But I think we should also focus on making any type of projectile and then bind some spells to these projectiles. You see?
yes, I
And
agree with
then
that.
and then it makes sense to have like for example polymorphism in the spells to differentiate the kind of spell. Like for example, one table for conjurations, one table for blah blah blah. You see?
Mhm. I like that idea.
Uh,
I like that idea.
so let's do something like this. Let's do it two just to get started. Like let's focus on like passive effect spells and actual fireballs,
Ooh,
right? Kind of stuff.
that's actually a good point. There is actually how do games call that mode?
Oh man,
Actually, not
ignore
buff
this. Ignore
versions.
this typing for now. Ignore this. No,
Passive.
no, man, you don't need to type this. Like that would be on the type of the spell, right? If the spell is a buff, it's gonna be like a conjuration with some special things
Ah,
in it. Like it
I
doesn't need
understand.
to.
I understand. So, I'm gonna forget the
So
type for now, the enum for
what do
now.
we need generically in a spell? We need a name, a description. Can
I
you
would like
comment
to
the
have
kind?
instructions because this description is gonna be the
Mm.
lore, right?
Well, you can do it like Dark Souls, and everything is a description, is already telling you
How to
what to
use it.
do, and then you
Oh,
just test.
okay, that
Don't
works.
forget the cost.
Oh yes, mana, right?
Ooh. Okay, but then we get into a very nitty gritty
Oh,
things.
hmm.
Our spells are they gonna only gonna consume cost mana or because some games use a combo of mana and health, mana and stamina. That's very
Oh,
interesting.
I think I think it makes like here's one thing that I like on Dark Souls 3, and I think it's nice to have that. Like Dark Souls 1 works like this. You have a spell count, and then as long as you buy pages of that spell, you can conjure that spell like multiple times. So for
Mhm.
example, if I have like a Wrath of the God, for example, that's so powerful that you only get one. But if you do a game plus one, you get another, and then game plus two, you get another. And you see, you just stack them, but you need attunement points allocated, so you can allocate lots of slots, so you can allocate these spells. I don't like this mechanism, but I think it's very easy to implement. I think it's better to go with like mana because it gives you more freedom as a character to actually just be a mage, right? So uh, maybe the cost could be just dictated based on a single target, like mana, only that, like
Sure.
MP.
Okay.
So
That guy actually reminds me. We need to introduce mana to the character. Uh, Ooh, that's actually very interesting. So the current mana like amount, I believe that should go into the character, but the maximum capacity of mana maybe should go to the stats. Does that make
The
sense?
maximum capacity, shouldn't that be derived from other stats that are more primitive?
Oh, you mean like if you have more constitution, you have more mana than somebody with more strength, assuming everything else is equal?
Kinda, except typically you don't use constitution for your mana cap, but okay.
Then it comes a very good question. Should that uh, deduction of how much mana you have based on in your stats, should that be done by Postgres or should that be done by the client?
I
That should
think,
definitely be done by Postgres, otherwise things are
yeah,
gonna get wonky.
like think of this.
Ah.
That it's funny because that allows you to cheat, right? Like with cheat engine or something like that, and also that allows you to be. Hmm, I think that allows you, that gives you leeway for lag, like for further lag, because lag will be present anyhow. But I think you can magnify the consequences of some lag in the game.
Mhm. Okay, so in the
Like if
future
it's
I'm
on
gonna
Postgres,
introduce
it's
mana.
atomic. So
Yeah, but in the future I'm gonna introduce mana here, but then I'm gonna have to learn, which I don't know. I never used this functionality in Postgres. How do I add a check, which is not a simple thing like this, and it's actually a function?
oh, you shouldn't actually call functions on checks.
That's the thing. Well, actually, that's wrong. What I said. The
Actually,
check's
no,
gonna be
wait.
simple
That's
anyway.
on SQL Server. I'm assuming things on Postgres.
Yeah, no, but I actually don't think it makes sense to the mana to be calculation to be on a check. But the you should never ever ever be able to do an insert on the mana stats. That should be deduced by everything else. So if you
Magenta,
upgrade
remember,
your wisdom or whatever, that automatically changes, like cascades to the mana also changing.
Magenta, remember
Um,
a while back when I asked, okay, how do rule engines relate to databases? A rule engine would actually be great here because you can just say, okay, your mana is determined by this formula, and the inputs come from the database tables, and the outputs will be stored somewhere as a database table that is
Hmm.
automatically computed.
mm-hmm.
Yep, that sounds like a good deal. That sounds like a good deal.
But like, is there some mechanism that does something like that already in SQL?
Some mechanism that makes you implement rules. Give me one example of such rule, for
Sure.
example.
So let's suppose for a moment that I have, well, I don't necessarily need to suppose. I'm gonna add it. So I'm gonna add mana to the stats,
Hmm.
and let's say that
I
the
think,
maximum
although
is
I think
300.
mana should be, because here's the difference. The stats, I think they should be the levels of the character. But other things, like for example, calculatable, whatever,
That's a good way to
like
say it.
health points, they should be calculated out of constitution, right?
No, but
So they shouldn't be.
that's the thing.
I don't.
Like, let me explain some another thing. There will be some a difference because this is the cap, right? This is the like the ceiling. The current lives in here, I believe. The
Yeah,
current
in the
level
character.
of the current amount of this thing. Uh, the same thing for the health, by the way.
I don't
Same
think
thing
there
for
should
health.
be a upper limit
For mana, you mean?
for anything.
Oh, okay.
That's
No, a boundary, a low index, yes, but not a upper bound, like
Okay.
that's
greater
not
than
quite
zero.
what Lemos meant by cap. By cap, he means okay, what's your maximum capacity of health given your current stats? Assuming
Yeah.
you haven't taken any
Oh,
Yeah,
to
damage.
because if you
alter the.
yeah,
I
if you
see.
consume
So
an
you want to
item
make
that
a.
gives you mana, we need to
Oh,
be
you can
sure
do that.
you what?
You can do that.
Do what?
It's an intertable constraint.
No, it is, but I'm just explaining to you the difference. This mana of the character stats table, this is the ceiling of your current that can be deduced from everything else. So, for instance, let's suppose that the math. This is just an example, okay? I don't play RPG, so I don't know if this will make sense at all. But I'm gonna say that the mana is 2 times faith plus constitution.
That's very weird, but okay.
Again, I don't know. I don't play RPGs. It's just an example for because Magetta asked one. So that
I
would be the
think
calculation. That would be
I
the
think it
calculation.
should be like strength, endurance, and constitution. Some weird calculation. So you do a select on those columns, and then you do some weird equation with them, and then you get the value that is health, and then you update the health field. But I don't think the health field should be on the stats because it's a thing that modifies differently than the others fixed level values.
Really,
Yeah,
some
yeah. So
games that I
like,
played, your stats actually change how much health you have.
Yes, which is what I said.
But then you said it doesn't. You said you shouldn't live in the stats. You said also, right?
Yeah, because this thing is like a thing that changes on the core of the character, right? So I upgrade my level, I get one more point in there. The other thing is a thing that is calculated based on this.
yeah, there's a difference between a primary stat which you can increase when you level up, and a secondary stat that's computed from your primary. So, like for instance, you have strength. That's a primary stat. But then you have your attack power. That's a secondary stat, which is based on your strength plus other things.
One thing that could be done though is one argument for keeping the things down there, okay? Is that you can calculate things based on the other tags. So when you are inserting a new row in there or updating it, then the constraint will check the other things inside this row. So for example, inside this mana, you can calculate the mana. So it can be a calculated field. Do you know how to do that in Postgres?
They have no idea.
So it's a field that you don't need to insert. It has a default, and then it gets calculated based on the other values that are around. So you don't ever need to update that if you don't want to. I
That's
mean,
what I think we should do.
Yeah, that's kind of what we want, actually.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
exactly what we want.
So let me remember how you do that. Calculated
Wait,
column.
but I still don't get the Magetta's argument. So Magetta was said twice that health should not live in here. I don't get why.
Because when you level up, you don't put points in health, you put points in constitution or whatever.
Yes.
Oh, so okay. I also played games that leveling up increases the health. That's not gonna happen.
No, that's not quite what we mean. What we mean is, okay, you know those points you get when you level up that you can allocate to your
Yes,
stats?
yes.
You
Played
don't
plenty of
put
times.
those directly into health, you put those into constitution, and that increases your health.
So health is a derivative.
No, it is a derivative. I agree, but that does that mean that it should not have a specific field in the table?
It shouldn't be in this table, is what we're getting at.
Oh, it
Yes.
should be in which table?
A
So
new one, probably.
yeah, that's probably
Ooh.
should be on the character table.
No, that's
Uh,
but that, to me this health here in the
yeah,
character
but
table.
we found the same problem. Like when you insert a character, you will have to insert your health. I So here's the thing. If it's a calculated column and we have a view preventing that thing from being exposed, because when you insert stuff to the character, you just simply don't expose those fields on the same level, right? Then there's no problem, I think.
Yeah, no, but I think there is a confusion here, but that was on my communication. There are, in my mind, and please correct me if I'm wrong, there are two healths and two manas. There
What?
is the nominal value of health, which is the maximum amount that you have currently,
Which is calculated
which
always.
is the derivative.
Yes.
Derivative. And it is the current health, which is the one that you actually see on the screen.
Okay, but why do they need to be different?
Because we need this one to
Because you
know
can
how to
take damage.
handle.
Yeah, because you can take damage. That doesn't change your maximum health, but it changes your current health.
And why do we need a maximum, Mageta asks? Because if you have a buff from a mage that, well, that in this case would be like more like a priest, I guess. If you have some sort of a buff that heals everyone in an area, we
Okay, you
need to
can
know the
increase your
maximum.
health, whatever, but that's always derivated from the other things.
No, it is derivated, but we need to know the maximum to know that we need to stop giving you the buff.
But my point
Uh,
is, you can always calculate that.
there's a slightly simpler way of doing this, Lemon. Instead of keeping track of your current health, you keep track of your current damage.
Oh, inverting the logic, right?
Yes, so healing reduces the damage that you currently have, and that bottoms out at 0. And then at any point, if your current damage exceeds your maximum health, you die.
Okay. What do you think about that,
I
Jacob?
think, yeah, never mind. Just put two columns, and then one is always never touched,
Yes, this one will never be touched by us.
and the other is just the same. It starts as of the same, but
Yes.
then you deduce the value. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
it's
not a
simpler.
fan of negative logic this way, Marinho, because I get confused really quickly. That is the same kind of thing with like having NORs and ANDs and using the theorem to revert them when they are equivalent. I don't do those because I get confused with my intuition gets fucked, although they are equivalent.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So this health here will never be touched, and this mana also will never be touched. This one will be derivated by everything else. These one are the ones that I'm gonna use to display on the client side. Uh, that to me makes a lot of sense. That to me a lot of sense. Um, yeah.
I mean, technically, the client needs to know both, right, to show a health bar.
Yeah, no. We need to know. We're gonna do a read on this. We're not gonna do a write. Never will do a write on it. Ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, externally, I mean, we will write this when you change these, right? When you change these, there will be some sort of automatic functionality updating these two. But we will read these ones. We will read. I would like to add stamina, but we don't have running animation, so I'm not gonna put it right now. Okay, cool. So all of this because of the cost. Okay, so we have the name of the spell, the description of the spell, which will be like Magetta said with the Dark Souls thing. So it also has the instructions built in. We have the cost, we have the kind, and then there is a final thing missing, which is um, actually a spell needs to be in a map. Hmm, am I right?
Yes, I'm trying to make an equation. I think here.
So we need this
Um,
thing as well. Okay, so these two things needs to be replaced with a target. But then here's the kick. Some of the targets, they don't need extra information, such as you have a passive ability that does only affects you. How are we going to describe that? As well as being able to express the idea that you can select a specific couple of coordinates, a pair of coordinates that you will target that region. How are we going to be able to say that?
Hmm.
Is it clear what I try to explain?
Yeah.
I won't detect the union. Am I wrong?
so what about we do a range between the values that is like Dark Souls takes 99, I think. So if we take, uh, let me think here. If we take like a HP being a sum of the Constitution, Strength, and Endurance.
Let me type that down. We're gonna forget. Okay, so HP. Oh, that's how we do comments. So health. Repeat.
A sum of Constitution,
Constitution
like
plus.
plainly, because there should be no cap, right? I want to make an asymptote because
Sure.
I don't want to just have to you put like 99 on strength and your health starts increasing exponentially, right?
Yeah.
So
My get is
I
already
think
thinking about balancing the game.
I mean, we could just increase it linearly, kind of like this.
No, but then like there's. Hmm. But then I think the strategy becomes like because here's the point like it should make constrain the game to a certain point where you level to a certain level that gives you the maximum output possible. Because well, I'm thinking already on matchmaking because matchmaking you should probably match people with the same range in levels, right? So something that gives you enough expressiveness in your build at the same time that it diminishes uh, the amount of uh, actually it improves the matchmaking. So it gives you the flexibility to build that leverages different things, but also that doesn't make you overpowered on everything because you can always just make a character that is 999 on everything and then they're gonna be like a god, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think you should limit down to a certain level that it starts to give you diminished returns if you want to engage in multiplayer because it would force you to have weaknesses as a character. Like if you're a magician, if you start investing in physical defense at the same time that you invest in your intelligence, probably you're gonna be a crappy runner. You're gonna have low HP, so it makes you weaker in other parts, right? So I think if we do kind of like if we pick like the limit like 99 and then divide and then yeah put 99, no plus 99
Oh,
like
plus.
between parentheses
Parentheses on what? This?
yeah, and then you do less constitution,
Less. Oh, less constitution. 990 minus constitution.
less minus constitution,
Minus constitution.
and then if you divide this,
Everything?
yeah, no just the 99 blah blah blah,
Oh,
right?
just the 99. Okay.
Because the constitution you don't want to cap, right? You should be able to just put that to 99 whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then you divide by something that as it increases it will actually diminish, right? So I think if we put a limit when it starts to give the middle point to be diminished returns after like 50 points, then I think we can do uh, an exponential.
I love this. Baguette is already thinking like long-term balancing of the
So
game.
do 1 plus to never, yeah, to make sure it's never 0, although it's an, yeah, it can never be 0, right? It can be always 1 only, so maybe you don't need that. Okay, just put like Euler, like the
Uh,
Euler number,
yeah, yeah.
uh and then on the value put like 50 less and then the attribute, I think, like endurance,
Wait a moment. Are you talking about this?
like 50 less endurance, yes, like this 50 less endurance, and then you multiply this by some constant that I think we are yet to find, right? So uh, we can put like we can test some values, but put like 0 1. Uh, yeah, and then do the same for strength. No, and plus, and then the same thing.
Oh, okay. So you want to
Let's try to
do.
plot this, man. Let's see how that goes.
Okay.
Just the other part. No, Lemus, just the other part,
Yeah.
right?
Like,
No, you put Constitution again.
no,
Just
yeah. I'm
like
gonna replace constitution with strength.
no, man. My point is the Constitution. You yeah, there. It should just be this thing in the middle, like Constitution plus this garbage, and then you copy this garbage plus the garbage again.
Oh, this thing plus
Yeah,
the same,
Constitution is just a yeah. It's like X plus
and
blah
then
blah
you put
blah.
strength here.
No, that's Constitution always, and then you just put strength on the bottom. Let me
On,
try to plot this.
on the
Do you
bottom,
have
you
the?
mean this place.
Yes.
Uh huh.
Doesn't Apple have that thing for plot on the?
If you have updated the iPad, yes.
Oh yeah, the iPad. Ah, but whatever. I'm not gonna pick the iPad. Just put this on Wolfram.
Yeah, no, okay, we're gonna do that, but not now. I want to finish the modeling of the spells first, and then something similar. So something similar to here. Okay. So Magetta, I would like to ask you, how are we gonna model the target of the spell?
Target, I don't think there should be a target.
Really?
Yes, I think you should have a position. If I think first of all, this table I don't think you should track anything of position of the spell,
No,
just the existence of the spell.
no. This will get away. This will get away. But I'm
But the
very
targets
curious.
also, I don't think there should be there because some spells might be self. Some,
So there
hey,
is a target.
maybe.
Us.
Eh, okay, but if you want to make an enum like self or
No, but that's the thing. I think I need a tagged union. Are those available in
yes, that's what
customers?
I'm saying. Enum.
No, but an enum is just a tag.
Yes. What else do you need?
A tagged union means I have a value like married to the tag.
Why?
Well, because if it's a player, then I want position, and if it's an area, I also want position.
You want a radius.
But if it's
But
yeah,
that should be
radius.
discriminated on the specific spell, not on the generic definition of it.
Oh, okay. I understand. So this will be spell target, and then here we're gonna have self
Self, vicinity, and
vicinity. What is that?
yeah, like allies, like people close to you, or uh,
Sure, sure. And this will be I don't know,
singular, maybe.
singular. That's not a bad one.
And I think that's
Uh,
it.
no, but there is also another one that I would like. I like when games have those, which is do you know when you have a cone? Like, oh man,
A what?
how to explain that shit? Wait a moment. So I know League of Legends have one of those. League of Legends abilities area.
League of Legends.
Yeah, but there is one that is like a cone that you select. It's a half pizza thing. Where is it? Where is it? Ah man. Ah, here. You see this? Do you want any of these?
Well, that's still vicinity. It's just a different radio.
Okay. Because then, okay, no, that's okay. So let's leave these three.
If you want to make it more specific, I think you can make a lunar spell. I don't know,
Lunar is a good name. Uh,
crescent spell. I don't know.
target.
I mean, that's more like a circle segment, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, but
Yes,
maybe
but I wanted to.
we can
I
express
wanted it
the
to
idea. Yeah.
sound like arcane. You know, like lunar, like the
Okay.
RPG for the Mega Drive.
What are the primary keys of the spell? I would say the name, the map name, and the kind.
No, wait. Why their map name?
Because the spell is can be only casted in a single map
No,
at a
man,
time.
ignore this. We are making the generic spell, the existence of the spell. It shouldn't be present in a map, right?
Mm,
That's for the instance of the spell.
that is fair. That means that we don't have foreign keys as well. There. Is this it? Is this the generic spell?
I think so.
Okay. So how do we make them specific now?
Oh, I think the name should be the only thing, though.
The name.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
don't
it
think
would
you
be
should have.
confusing. It would be confusing to have.
Yeah, to have two spells that do different things.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
weird.
Okay, so create table. Spell instance. Is that how you
No,
say
no.
that?
Wait. I think you're going ahead. So let do one first. So the next spell we're gonna do is a spell named. Um, let's do. Let me think. How do you want to name like spells that are buff? Think of like a name.
Blessing.
Blessings.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Here's the thing. Like, I think we should distinguish uh like the kinds of spells, right? That too. So like picking Dark Souls again. We're gonna end up plagiarizing the game. Uh, but for Dark Souls, I think we should pick something like they have pyromancies, which I don't like. Um, but they have magic, and they have in, miracles, which are each one of them have their lore. So uh, spell like a normal spells, there can be all of these three, and then a magic is bending of the soul arts. So it's like casting the soul arts. A pyromancy is manipulating chaos and the fire, and miracles are remembering the moments of the goddess, of the gods, right, and the goddesses. Uh, so I think we don't need to make that difference because they are gonna all have the same properties more or less, right? They're gonna serve different purposes maybe, but
Mhm.
they're gonna have the same thing.
Mhm.
So let's start with the obvious, which is what we want to model, which is destruction. So I don't want to name them destruction though.
What about projectiles?
Put
I mean,
spell projectile spell or spell projectile.
Spell projectiles.
What
I
is it again?
mean, you can have a spell that is offensive but doesn't shoot out a projectile.
Well,
Yes, I
yes.
know, but I want to model like the. Yes, that's true. Uh, Maybe destruction then. We can think of a better name later.
Okay, so destruction will be specific for projectiles that do damage.
No,
I
no,
mean,
not projectiles. Like anything that does damage.
we
Anything that
could
does
go
damage.
the Final Fantasy route and say if it does damage, it's black magic. If it heals, it's white magic, and whatever.
Well,
I think it's
Magenta is
too
the
simple.
owner of the product, so he knows the names.
Owner of the product.
Yep.
I think that's too simple though.
Okay, so
I
destruction.
want I
This,
want a lore rich game.
yeah,
That's the.
yeah. I don't know how healthy it is for the richness to overflow to the implementation, but we're gonna do what
Let's
we're
keep
gonna do.
going. So it's a good session for us to design
Yeah.
proper stuff as well. So okay, then you're gonna pick the name,
The name.
which is a foreign key. I don't need to say that.
It is a foreign key. I agree. So name. Oops. Spell. Yeah.
Okay, and with that we. Mhm. Okay, so now let's
Oh
model now
fuck.
the.
There is a thing missing here. Duration.
I think duration is also optional, so it shouldn't be there.
Really?
Yeah, because some spells they just go from one guy to another, right? So that they don't have a duration.
Yeah, but then that duration is zero, no? Like if I just give you 30 health, that's a thing that happened in an instant, so the duration should be zero. If it's healing over time, if it's damage
Mm,
over time, that's a very common thing in the games that I played.
okay, I don't have an objection to that.
Well, if that comes up, we can remove it.
Yeah, it
Okay,
should be just like seconds, right?
yes.
Okay, so what else do we need to destruction? We need a base power, probably.
Mm. So how
So
does
some,
wait a moment. So every single destruction spell will have some sort of like base damage.
I
And
think so because, like, for example, if you get a fireball and then you get a firestorm, right? Clearly, the firestorm should be stronger than a fireball, right? So there should be that difference.
so base damage and bonus damage.
Although here's okay, I'll pick Dark Souls again, but here's the thing that it does of interesting. Maybe not the bonus damage, but uh
Maybe in games
every
they call this critical damage actually.
so you can use
Why?
any miracle, for example. I don't think there should be critical damage there. That critical is critical from a standpoint of a calculation.
So in
So
games that have critical damage, the critical damage is calculated based on how accurate you did something. So like when you
well,
move the thing.
here's
Well,
what I mean. Here's what I mean.
Go Maget.
The base damage maybe should be bound to the, like for example, I'll speaking Dark Souls, the thing that is most uh miracles, they are balanced out, right? So for example, fireball is like take less to cast and it casts faster than firestorm, but the firestorm is, well, takes more but it deals more damage, so it's like, but it deals the damage on the vicinity, right, on the area. So you should take like a bet on which one you want to cast, right? But there's also the base damage of the catalyst. I think we should have both calculations. So the base damage for the spell as well as the catalyst, right? So
Mm.
cast time. I think cast time should be on the. No, no, never mind. I think the spell should also has a cast time. Yeah, that's right. Um, so just put base damage for now,
Base
and then
damage.
next, yeah, the next thing we should probably put in there is uh, let me think.
Marinho, do you have any comments?
I think we should probably put.
base damage should be greater than 0.
Yeah, I think that
Uh,
works.
but yeah, no, I think.
For destruction, yeah. Ah, you forgot the check, by the way.
No, check. That's correct. Okay, I'm not familiar with those type of games that have a base damage and you do there's something else that boosts the damage. How does that work?
Of course you are. Have you ever played Pokemon?
Yes.
Um,
But that's still on the character. That's not on the spell, right?
No, the moves have a base damage. And the base damage is part of the damage formula together with your attack and
Oh,
the
right.
opponent's
Yeah. Yeah.
defense.
Okay. Yes, you're talking about the base damage. Yes. But we're not increasing the base damage. We're increasing the bonus on the calculation, right?
yes, yes.
That is on the character.
Yeah,
Like
for that, it would be like, let me pick. Well, Magetta keeps using Dark Souls. I'm going to keep using Ragnarok Online because apparently that's the only MMO I've ever played. In that game, you have your strength, right? And that gives you some damage. But you also get damage from your weapon. And then your skill may also have a damage multiplier, which in this case would be like the base damage from our
And
spell, right?
I played games that there were some interaction. So if you have a skill that gives extra bonus if you're using a specific type of sword, and you have that equipped, that like gives an extra layer of boost, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think here's a thing we can probably put in there. It is also the type, the elemental type, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not saying we need to put like water, blah blah blah, but like probably like what is the type of the the spell? Like if it deals physical damage, if it deals, you see,
How
damage
do you
type
name the
maybe,
damage type? Yeah.
and then you
So
put like, yeah, we can think of that.
okay.
But let me, before I go have dinner, let me add an extra thing there.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, here's how you're gonna deal with polymorphism in SQL. Do you agree that if you add another table called spell conjuration, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
you are allowed to have two spells with, I mean, not with the same name, right?
Yeah.
But uh, well, since it's all bound to the foreign key being the name, I don't think you can. But if there was a composite key, you would, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one way to prevent that is to basically have a the spell table having the kind, which we do, which is the spell type. Sorry, not the spell type. That's the,
That's up here.
yeah, the uh Like for example, a what I mean is like miracles, magic, pyromancies, see that kind of stuff,
Oh,
like necromancy, that kind of stuff.
how the fuck do
Uh,
you? There are many classifications.
yeah, but if there are these classifications, you can enforce them down as well.
Hmm.
You see, but I think it's since we already have the foreign key on the name, and you can only have one thing one to one. You can't have two spells with the same name of different categories. So whatever, right? We can
Yes,
always just have
whatever.
one.
Exactly.
So then uh, put it there. Also the type right of it because we want to separate if it's a miracle, if it's blah blah blah, if it's magic.
What happens if you have the same spell in two categories or more?
No,
You
you
if you
can't.
make that part of the, I mean the same spell you can't because it's just a name,
Yeah,
right?
right now we are using the name as the
But
primary
if you
key.
make it a composite key, then you would have to
Then you would.
do a check on the table that you want to be of that category. So, for example, destruction, let's say. So you would have to make a tag called with all the things that are permissible, like destruction, conjuration, whatever, and then you enforce that downwards on the other tables as part of the key. And then you say check if this is destruction when on the table destruction. You see, and then you are locking the one row per thing
Oh,
polymorphically.
okay, that makes sense.
I'll have dinner and I'll be right back. And I'll leave you guys to do the rest. By the way, Open Extra Life for Dark Souls, that's a good inspiration, I think.
Okay. Oh boy. This got complicated really fast. Uh, okay.
By the way, hello, Nathan.
By the way, hello Nathan. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think we can do while Mageta is away, Marinho? Because like we have the spell, which I think it's pretty solid. Like we have the name, we're gonna have a description, how much mana is gonna cost, for how long is gonna happen, and how much time you need in order to make it happen. What is the kind of the spell? So if it's a spell that is a projectile type, an area type, buff type, or if it is and the type of the target, right? So it can be singular, which in this case you just select a specific geographical position. It can be vicinity, which is the area, and it can be self, which is the target is yourself.
The column is called kind, but the enum is called type.
Yeah, no, but I'm just following the convention. Magetta was already using this convention before. So if you take a look on the tiles, for instance, look. Maybe because type is a special keyword in SQL. Maybe.
Okay.
MMORPG modeling, besides being hella cool, sounds hella hard. Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard, especially if you want to, at first glance, do how Dark Souls does, which is what Magetta is being inspired by. That's a lot of finicky details to play around with. There's a lot of them. So while Magetta is away, I think we should try to, because we already have a specific kind of spell. The fireball will happen here. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So what about making the projectile table? And here's the kick: a projectile is kind of an object, kind of. Agree on that?
Yes.
So the projectile is happening on a specific map of the game. I don't know if a projectile needs a name. That's kind of weird because a projectile is supposed to be a temporary thing, right?
Right.
So it's kind of weird that we have a name in there. It does have geographical position, but it does have a lot more stuff. It has a lot more stuff. Um, so I'm actually gonna copy this table and let's do projectile. Let's do projectile. So the projectile should have this thing. I don't think it should have a name. And here's a difference, which I think Magetta will at first glance disagree. So I'm gonna try to convince you, Marinho, and if you're convinced, then we convince Magetta.
Okay.
Once you, like, let's suppose that I have a spell that during its duration, I keep spelling projectiles using my mouse as the direction. Okay?
Okay.
Do you agree that once the projectile gets out of me, it gets like projected out of my existence? It is a separate entity which with its own mechanics, its own time, lifetime, its own physics.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so does that means that the projectile should also have a duration because it's a different duration in the spell. Do you agree with that?
Maybe. Maybe.
What are projectiles entities in this case? That is the object that would be because I like the example of the fireball. So let's think about the fireball example. So the fireball would be a destruction type spell. So it would be live in this table. Um, uh, why are projectiles? Well, because they will have they will interact with the hitboxes of the entities of the world.
You can potentially dodge them.
You can potentially dodge them. Uh, I have very bad experiences with Terra, so I'm not gonna comment about it. But well, it is what it is.
I never played Terra, so whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so a projectile has a map name. I also think it should have a geographical position, so X and Y. We don't have Z in this game, so it's fine. Uh, and what else? So I think it should have a velocity. What do you think, Mani?
Yes, it should.
For now, it's
Hmm.
gonna be an integer. Probably it shouldn't in the end, but actually definitely shouldn't, man, because Raylib is gonna do the math using floats. So we should have floats in our stuff in here.
Should we?
I think so. I think so. Yeah, we need to research on that. So let's think. So floats, Postgres, numeric types. Okay,
By
so
the way,
424. Yep, double. We also have decimal. Go on, Mani.
a projectile should also have an owner, I would think.
An owner. Why do you think that?
Because if I throw a fireball at you and you die, the game needs to know that, oh, I killed you, not the fireball. I cast the fireball belongs to me, therefore the XP and gold and whatever should be rewarded to me
That is
because I
very
was.
interesting. That is actually very interesting.
Because otherwise, what's gonna happen is okay, I'm gonna cast a fireball. Now the fireball is just a fireball, it doesn't belong to anyone, so if it kills you, I
Uh,
don't get the XP, so I'm discouraged from casting spells.
no, yeah, I agree, but let's answer what Nathan said. Does Raylib has physics stuff? Raylib has math stuff. We need to do the physics ourselves, and we have done this before. We did the math. That's that. Every time we say we did the math, it's because we did the physics. Okay, so we need to have something something. So, Marie, that's actually a very interesting problem that you gave me, man. You know why? Because a character is identified by three things. And do I need these three things to establish the owner of the fireball?
Well, you kinda can't, because otherwise monsters cannot cast spells.
So we need a way to identify entities differently than the primary key of the characters.
Yes,
How the heck are
we
we gonna
do.
do that?
That's an excellent question.
Uh, duration, um, duration, small int, Here's the kick though.
Please don't create an ID to be used for spells. Yeah, no, that would be silly.
Please don't create an ID to be used for spells. No, that's fine. But I know I'm not having any ideas, to be honest. Because we need to do what Marinho said. I was about to propose that we shouldn't, because as I said, as soon as I cast the spell and the projectile is spawned out of me, that shouldn't be related to me at all anymore. But then Marinho said a use case of it, which is if that damages you and kills you, the kills goes to me. So we need a way to do the backtracking. So we need to have an owner information, or the character needs to know his fireballs.
Yeah, like here's the thing. If this was like a physics-based game, where an arena game where the goal is to be the last one standing, then it doesn't actually matter if the projectiles don't have an owner because well, the goal is just to survive, right? But since this is an RPG, we need to be able to credit kills.
Yeah, but what
So
about the other way around? Instead of the projectile knowing its owner, the owner knows his projectiles. What about that? Hmm?
hmm, okay, what if hear me out? What if the projectile is actually modeled as a medium to transmit a spell to a target, which means actually the projectile contains a spell instance that it is transmitting to whatever, and that spell instance belongs to the player.
I
Oh,
don't know
that still
why that
has this.
makes.
Actually, that
Uh,
still has the same problem, right? Because then you still. Hmm.
why can't the projectile have a key that is composite? Well, that goes back to the other thing because to identify an owner, we need the owner is identified by these three things at the same time, right? And then Marinho already said, what if we have an NPC that casts spells? It doesn't have you character information, right? So how the heck we're gonna do that? You see what I mean? So in the case of an NPC, the name of the mob, the name of the NPC should be enough. But then we go back to the problem, which is we may have many NPCs with the same name. They are all orcs. They are all whatever. Then we go back to the problem: ID to be used for spells. You see, that's the kind of the thing. And then about your suggestion, Marinho, I don't know the gains of doing what you said because you basically said that what about wrapping a projectile with a spell and saving the spell with the character? To
Yeah,
me,
that's just passing the ball further down. It doesn't actually solve the problem. Yeah.
a user doesn't have an ID. A user a user is actually this guy. Is actually a composite key out of the username and the email. Right? That's a user for you. Which is a different thing than a character because a character has its own name, right? A character has its own name. Just concat them. I don't know. Magenta will know the answer to this question. Anyway, so aside from the ownership problem, what should be the primary key of a projectile? I think. Ooh, we may need a name. We may need a name, Marinho. You know why?
Why?
Because what if we have two intersecting fireballs?
What do you mean?
I cast a fireball, you cast a fireball, and we are at an angle at each other. And at some point, the two fireballs will hit each other.
Are we going to have projectile interactions?
No? Well, not right now at least.
And what's the problem? They'll
The
just keep
problem is that
passing
this primary
through.
key is now broken.
No, they will have. Well, I was gonna say they would have different owners, but then what if I cast two fireballs in a row?
How do you do tag unions? If the monster are not users, how do you differentiate? Should you abstract more? Something that the monster and the user have in common. I think you're confusing things. There's no way a monster and user have anything in common. They don't. What
Of
what
course,
they
they.
have in common is a monster and a character. They do have things
Yeah,
in common.
yeah. Monster and a character, they can definitely have things in common.
Yeah. And how do you do a tag union? I don't know. I asked that question before. I don't know how you're doing in Postgres tag union, but we need tag unions, bro. That they are very helpful. But this primary key is now broken, so we need a way to separate, to differentiate. Man, we are coming very very fucking close to an ID. Gotta be honest. Yeah, Nathan, but the character has a special thing. A character is linked to his user. That's why his primary key is composite. You know. And an NPC doesn't. An NPC doesn't have this link with the user.
I'm back.
Okay, we have a problem for you, sir. Mageta, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so while you were having dinner, we started the making this other table here, and we found a problem. Actually, more than one problem.
Okay.
So let's start by Magrinho's problem, which is, let's suppose a projectile hits you and kills you, and I was the one that casted the spell that
Oh, look,
generated the
Benin
projectile.
is here.
Sorry?
Benin is here.
Benevid is easier, yes. Then
But
the
go on.
problem becomes, if I kill you, we need a
Hmm.
way to know that I should receive XP because I killed you.
Yeah.
That means that either the projectile knows its owner or the character knows the projectiles that it has launched.
Yes, there should be ownership of the spells, right?
No, 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 but
Not for all projectiles, maybe, because although it's unrealistic to think that you can go in the front of your own arrow, right? That doesn't really make much sense. But mm,
And here's the catch. If we put an owner here,
I mean, the ownership may not necessarily prevent friendly fire. You could still throw a fireball at yourself and commit suicide.
yes, I think that should be possible. People
Yeah,
do
you
that all
can
the
make
times.
things simpler here because there's
What's
probably going to be some meta that
oh
people will
yeah,
find out.
probably.
okay, so now I have a question for you, Magita. What do you prefer? Well, what do you think makes more sense? Do you have an ownership information in the projectile? And then we're gonna have to go through the hassle of having all these primary. Oh no, but then there's the second degree problem, because then I said, okay, so we need to put the character information in the projectile, and then Marinho said, what if an NPC throws a fireball? And then I said, yeah, we're fucked.
Well, they are also characters.
Yeah, but they don't have this thing. Well, not these things.
Oh, wait. Okay, then we need to distinguish the characters between the NPC and user characters, right? I made this thinking of the user.
No, that's okay. But then Nathan said we need a way to abstract even further the common part. We are basically
Yeah, like
making
character,
OOP
and
in
then you have
SQL.
user character, which is a character from that there are players. Actually, players. That's a name. And then another table NPC that are all linked, and then you have the same view for all of them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Okay, so then you are in favor of the ownership information leaving the projectile instead of the opposite, instead of the other way around.
Yeah, my The other way around.
The other way around would be that the character knows
Hmm.
his projectiles.
That's simpler, but that still doesn't solve
No, it kind
the
of solves
the other
it.
problem.
No, it kind
I
of.
mean, we're still gonna have to make an NPC table, right? Something like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, yeah, but for now we don't have this idea of actually like we need to give you XP because you hit something. So we can just put a comment here. So ownership information
This
goes
is
here.
why we need the borrow checker.
uh, okay, so another thing that I would like to talk to you. I think these two things should be doubles or floats. Do you agree with me?
They have terrible arithmetic laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think there's other way around. Raylib is going to do
What?
the math using floats, and we know that ahead of time.
Why
If
should that affect the DB though?
Because if we do not store floats, that means that at each tick there will be some miscalculation being done because of casting on the database.
Why exactly does the client need to compute anything in this case?
Well, because that's where the math lives. We have this discussion before.
Is it?
Yes. How do you think that the character moves smoothly? You were there.
But here's the thing. If I'm if I'm playing the game as character A and you're playing as character B, currently, um, I don't see you moving smoothly. I only see myself moving
But that's
smoothly.
because but that's because the database doesn't store things like velocity. That is being stored in the state of the client. That's why you do not move smoothly in multiplayer. At the point that we have this information stored, Marinho, I'm gonna be able to retrieve that in the client, and then instead of doing some very basic snapping shit, I will be able to do the same math that we are already doing. That's why. And that's actually what I plan to do on my branch of the animations, right? The animations, the new animation doesn't it is not complete in my branch for multiplayer, only for single player. I need to make
Okay.
some improvements in the schema, but that's a
Okay, we
separate
can.
conversation.
Okay,
So
we can try that out.
okay, but Mageto, do you agree these six things are the ones that we need for uh, the
Yeah, I think
projectiles?
so.
There's a
Yes.
problem though, which was the one that I was talking to to Marinho. Look at the primary key. Okay,
So okay, there
you see
should
any
be a
problem?
projectile. They no, wait a sec. There can
Yeah,
be two projectiles in the same tile, right? That's
Exactly.
not a problem.
E- exactly. So either we forbid that to happen, and then the fireballs, I don't know, destruct each other.
Okay, let's think. What is a projectile, first of all?
A projectile is an object that moves across space and interacts with hitting boxes. That's it.
If he hits another projectile, should he cancel out?
To me, no. To me, no.
I mean,
Like
depends on the game, right?
It depends on your mechanic.
like
What if it's two fireballs?
if I fire an arrow at Benet right now, and Benet does the same, both arrows they touch each other precisely, like they cancel out, right?
I invoke Xenon's paradox. They never touch each other.
Thank you. Uh,
Yeah, but that is an example that has a more concrete thing. What about fire? If I throw fire in front of fire, what should happen?
well, I think the stronger fire should just add up with the smaller fire, and then the stronger continues to have momentum, and then keeps going by the law of inertia to the weaker target.
Ah, Okay, so we are then talking that there can only be one projectile at each position in a certain map.
Yes, Benet is right. Small fighter, big fighter.
This reminds me of Star Ocean with absorption. That's like it's a
The
very
same way, the same way. If you put like uh, water, right?
What was not that?
The- Me
Oh,
deixa mais feliz, me deixa sonhar.
that comment was so good. That comment was so good. Okay, okay. So, folks, okay, so if that's the case, if you're gonna do a very absorption or like spells can interact with each other, this is enough for being the primary key. This is enough. Okay, cool. So let's go back to spell destruction now that Magetta is back. So Magetta, what
I
else
need
are
to
we
go
missing here?
soon to talk to a friend, by the way. But anyway, go on.
What are we missing here?
And that's only because Magetta doesn't want to put arrays in a column.
Only because of what?
I wanna vomit.
I'm joking.
Man, Benji's sound is very low to me for some reason.
He said all of this is just because Magetta didn't want to put arrays on columns.
but you can just replace that with a one-to-many relation, right?
Always, right?
Okay, so
Uh,
Magetta, what are we missing in this thing here?
so spell destruction. I don't know. Just damage. The type of damage. Destruction type. I think that's it.
Okay, so we are ready to spawn
Uh,
fireballs.
Try to do like a healing just to see because it's very
Mm,
different, right?
okay, let's
So
do healing.
make a healing table.
What would be the name of this?
Uh, Conjuration, maybe.
Conjuration.
I think
Something
Morrowind called.
destruction.
What's illusion in Morrowind? I don't remember.
Mm,
Benet is the expert. He can tell. He's expert in Morrowind and Bethesda.
You should call it construction actually, because it's the opposite of destruction.
Construction, the great song from Chico Buarque de Holanda.
Wait, are we
Hmm.
gonna do construction?
Hopefully not.
Okay. Okay, so what are the types of healing? Marine said blessing, right?
I mean, here's the thing though. Healing magic and damaging magic are not actually that different mechanically because, well, one of them increases your health and the other just decreases it.
Yes. So the only thing that changes is that the
Plus and
stat
minus.
is flipped. Yeah. So I think there should be conjuration, like poison, like something that calls you poison and something that blesses you. That shouldn't change anything, right?
Oh, so but then we are merging these two tables, as far as I could tell. Is that
No,
what you said?
no, no. Destruction is like can be a projectile and such. Although you could also pick like a blessing. Like okay, you could also do like a base damage of something that you can throw at people, right? Like you're a cleric, you have a spell that is classified as destruction that launches a projectile, and then the projectile
Deals negative damage.
there is negative damage. Yeah, you could do that, but then that's not destruction, right? You should have a conjuration that is uh, that is a target, a projectile. So both tables they should be projectileable. You see my point?
Yeah, no, but as you speak, as you describe more stuff, I'm very like saying, man, this is not base damage. This is base value, and then the only thing that changes is
Yes.
the positive and negative.
Yes,
This is
indeed.
value.
No, but I mean, on destruction, I think everything should be damage because, well, it's damage spells, right?
No, 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 no. I agree, but I don't know if this is like I'm breaking the relational model and shit. But what if just imagine for a moment. I'm not saying we're gonna do that, but just imagine. We just say
Not. Not base value, base power.
Power. Yeah,
spells for
power.
now. I'm not creative with
Okay.
names. And then we change damage to value, and then we add another thing which is the I don't know signal, which can be bool or whatever.
Booleans. Why booleans?
And then here we know if it is destruction or construction. Now we know
Uh,
because this is the same thing, right? This is like a value. If it's healing or if
why
it's
why
damage,
do you
doesn't
need
matter.
to know that?
Because this is a value. This is the base value, which can be healing or damage. This is the type of it. This is the type of this value, which we're gonna have to change anyway. Then this will tell us if this is damage or healing. Then we don't need to
Why?
separate spell destruction and spell conjunction. Uh,
They're still different categories. They're not the same. Like the fact of their damage or not doesn't change the fact that they are different categories. That doesn't make a destruction spell to be part of a conjuration, right?
okay, I
Unless
see.
you want to just get rid of the entire destruction, conjuration, illusion, whatever category altogether, which I'm fine with. I'm just suggesting it because that's what Morrowind does.
No, I'm fine with whatever. Just because this table and this one seem very redundant.
Uh, I think in this example we might, but if you add something, as you start to add like illusion, that doesn't call any damage. So what do you do?
Mm-hmm. I
So
see.
So
that just creates things, right? So
Are you guys having mechanics for different categories of spells? Well, we
yes,
have
for,
for
for
sure
that's
at
the
instance,
least
point.
three: buffs,
yeah. For
area
instance,
stuff, and
let's say
projectiles.
let's say you have illusion magic. I don't think illusion magic has any sort of damage stuff. Illusion magic,
Exactly.
for instance, is kind of like blindness. You
It's
get
like
blind
yeah,
for
blindness
blindness.
or the havoc like
Yeah.
oblivion, like it has that thing that makes everybody go crazy, so it
Wait a
affects
moment.
in
Is
vicinity.
illusion a conjuration?
No.
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 Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
no.
By the way, the thing you were talking about the vicinity and all that's just how you target stuff. That's nothing to
Yes.
do with
This
the
is how you target.
yeah. So for example, imagine a spell that you cast in vicinity, and everybody that is on the same location that gets hit with that spell goes crazy and starts beating other people. Like that's a thing on Oblivion, for example. I think that's on Skyrim as well. So that's one example of a thing that doesn't cause damage per se, but it makes other NPCs and enemies behave weirdly. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
mechanic, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's what I did with conjuration. So we have base heal, heal kind, which is for now is only blessing, and we have the spell conjuration type, which I also just put heal here. I don't know what other conjuration types exist, and that's it for as far as I can tell. Okay, so is this it for Bosquis? Do we need anything else for now?
So we have a spell heal type whose only value is blessing, and a spell conjuration type whose only value is heal.
Yeah, no, I'm not very creative with the alternatives. That's why Mageta is here.
Conjuration is not healing, right? Conjuration you can heal, you can make like a fake weapon.
So there is illusion in it.
It's
That's
not illusion is not causing not, so illusion is not about making things, it's about twisting things,
Yeah,
right? That's different.
distorting. Yeah.
Distorting.
Distorting.
it's about
Conjuration is
this.
creating things out of thin air, like creating a sword, let's say.
Like the government creating money.
Yes, like money.
Invocation is one of them. Those
Invocation is like bringing a mob, right? Something like that. Like necromancy, for example. Is that
necromancy.
yeah? Necromancy is a kind of invocation, right? One example.
Yeah. Oh no, that was an example of not conjuration. Okay, so this is still fake weapons. This is still fake weapons then. Okay, I have a question. So
Let me
I am
see
the
here.
conjuration
bone
What
of
is
my
contains
that?
sword.
something else aside from healing. That's what you said.
Conjurations Oblivion. Actually, let me look at Morrowind because it's
Lemos will have to play
cooler.
Skyrim as research. Ah. Yeah, but there's something weird because we cannot have spell conjuration type only with fake weapons and there's healing involved. That doesn't.
Oh, so check it out. Conjuration summons magical items and beings, so it also invokes from the outer realms to serve you. The spell effects of the College of Conjuration include the mental domination of mundane and magical creatures, summoning otherworldly weapons and armor, and summoning of Daedric or undead servants, and powers to serve and protect the caster. So it also includes the invocation, right?
Hmm.
Let me read destruction. This destruction harms living and unliving things. The destruction skill is a mastery of the spell effects of the College of Destruction. Their spells harm living and unliving things, and include elemental damage, draining, damaging, vulnerability, and disintegration of magical effects. That's cool.
That's cool.
There is also alchemy, is one itself to create like potions, which is broken on Morrowind, by the way. There's ancient incantations. Incantations is pretty. It's buffs, right? Usually. Restoration, which is like I don't really see much of the purpose of it existing. Maybe for miracles. There is alteration. Oh, this is cool. Students of the College of Alteration manipulate the physical world and its natural properties. Alteration effects include water breathing and walking, jumping, levitating, burdening, opening and locking, and creating shield barriers against physical and elemental damage. So, like for a thief, this is very useful.
Okay, okay, stop
Um,
there. That's alteration. Which one is the one that involves healing people?
it's either restoration or conjuration. I think they're conflated. You can just have like
I think it's
restoration or
restoration,
conjuration.
100%.
So the last one is mysticism. So mysticism involves the manipulation of magical forces and boundaries to bypass the structures and limitations of the physical world. Uh, the spells of the College of Mysticism shape and focus otherworldly forces to bind souls in gems, teleport the caster's body, manipulate the world with telekinesis, absorb or reflect magical energies, and sense unseen objects at a distance. So this is basically like reading tea leaves on a teacup.
Hmm.
Folks, I have to talk to my friend real quick, but I'll be
Sure.
back. I'll
Okay,
just
no
quickly
problem.
on the.
Okay,
Marinho, I think before we get out of SQL, the final thing is a view. Do you agree?
probably, yeah.
Because otherwise it's gonna suck. Very, very hard. My get this out. Time to break the relation model. That was funny. Okay, so we need to create a view. We need to create a view, as we did for characters. Although it was a lie, it was fake news, right? It's not updatable at all. Uh,
Yeah.
it was very sad to 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 know that.
What are you going to do? Sue Postgres? Good luck with it.
Man, why is your audio so low to me? I don't understand.
Oh man, the reason is I'm on Linux. Yeah, I'll see if I can fix this freaking audio.
Okay, no problem. But increased my volume here. Okay, so what the fuck was that? Okay.
Sorry, I was checking if we had support for Sonoplastia do Hautinho, but we don't have it.
Okay, so view spell. And this should not require. Oh, we're gonna have to do an upsert, don't we, Marinho?
Probably.
Okay, I'm very sad. I'm very sad about that. Okay, so spell destruction and spell restoration. And this should just work, right? Because you're using the primary keys as the name.
No, it's because the columns have the same name.
Yes, but we are using the columns with the same names and explicitly saying the foreign key is the name.
Yeah.
Then the natural join will know how to do the joins. Cool. Very cool. Mhm. Mhm. Bro, we're gonna have to think of a. That's very interesting. We're gonna have to think of a mechanism that will allow us to transition from I cast a spell and now there is a projectile floating around.
Yeah.
How the heck are we gonna do that?
Isn't isn't this going to depend? Like, here's a very dumb question. Okay, I wasn't here from the beginning, but how is the game supposed to be played? Like, I know you're supposed to be played on ticks, right?
Yeah.
But what about, are we going to play, like, is it going to be turn based? How are we going to, how is the word?
It's an MMO.
Okay, it's an MMO. All right.
That means
So
that there's no turns,
there's no turns, but
which
oh,
introduces a gigantic problem, which
mhm.
is how will I know that Marinho hit me with a fireball?
The server should tell you, ideally.
No, the server. Yeah, no, yeah. That's kind of an obvious answer, but I was asking the real question is how are we gonna make that happen? Magia
Magic.
suggests notifications. Remember?
Yeah.
But I don't want to suggest this though. Unless the way the person walks into the world is real time, but the moment combat happens, it becomes turn based.
Oh, you mean like what is it? Wakfu does that, if I recall correctly.
Hmm. Oh, that I think that's what the original Morrowind does as well. Like, you kind of walk the world just like that. There's a lot of like old ass RPGs that do that. You just walk around the world real time, but then when the moment shit happens, it's turn based. So
Well, I would like to face the challenge of having
yeah, yeah,
not having
real
it
time.
turn based.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because if we make it turn based, even I know how to do it, and I'm stupid.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the real
Uh,
challenge is then making this stuff not turn based,
Not turn
real
based,
time.
exactly. That's the real challenge. There is
I,
a gotcha though. There is a gotcha that we can do without notifications, which is the following. Because right now, what is the information that the server throws at the user, at the client? The only thing that the user is receiving, the client is receiving from the server, is the information about other characters. So if you go to server, here, update character, right? So look at what we are doing. I am updating your character using our information that you sent me, and I'm retrieving the characters that are in the map that you're playing, and they are actively playing. That also matters, and I'm sending those to you. We're gonna change this to something like state, and this will include everything else, not only the players, including projectiles. I don't know, spells, because maybe we want to have some animations going on. All that stuff will go into the state, and then we're gonna send that to the client instead of sending only the players. That's my plan. That's very inefficient because that means that I'm gonna send stuff that you're not even in the area of being able to render. But that works as a temporary solution.
okay.
That works as a temporary
Um,
solution. Cool, cool. So now let's make the view. We need to do the upsert. Am I missing anything, by the way? I don't think I'm missing anything. We have. Oh, we also have conjuration, right? We have destruction, conjuration, and restoration.
I mean, of course you don't think you're missing anything. If you did, I mean,
No, 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 not even finish. Not even finish. It's already
no,
done.
I was just gonna say, if you know that you're missing something, you're not really missing it, are you?
Terrible.
You
Uh,
just got destroyed by logic.
okay, I have a question to Benedo because I think this is wrong. So here's the.
Uh,
Oh, we
yeah, I
need
was going
three
to ask.
views, bro. We need three views. That
Well, wait,
sucks.
wait. That depends. Like, wait, do you really need reviews?
Yeah, because we don't want to mess around. Like you cannot write on all three of them at the same time, right? You,
Oh, yes.
so we need to
Yes.
do for each one of those. We need to do a separate view. That kind of sucks, but okay.
Then something else we need to do later
Restoration.
is to break this single file.
Yeah,
This
this
small
single
file.
file, right? This is already what?
Yeah.
300 lines? Ah, that's not so bad. Come on.
Yeah, it's not so bad, but
Come on.
eventually it's going to be a mess.
I'm surprised you mentioned eventually.
Yeah.
But okay.
Eventually, to be consistent.
Okay.
Oh no, this
So
is
let's
certified by the CQRS game.
spell. Look at this shit though. It's so annoying because as far as I can tell, Postgres doesn't have this high level of polymorphism to do it. Because I'm gonna have to copy paste basically just changing the same three words every time.
Amazing.
Very fucking sad.
That's why we need to use an ORM.
So this is gonna be spell destruction,
I'll
and
be right back.
destruction only has the name as the primary key,
Hmm.
as far as I can tell. Let's go there.
Wait, really? That's what? Oh.
Yeah, yeah. You can look at the following, Benedictus.
Mhm. Mhm.
The spell underscore something. It's are basically specializations of this
Mhm.
table
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. Makes sense.
So it's kind of like inheritance, but worse.
Mhm. It's kind of like inheritance, but with COBOL.
It's kind of like inheritance, but worse. Okay, and then we just need the one inserting two. So I'm gonna remove all of this, and then we're gonna do spell this. Actually, actually, this is only spell, right? Yeah, this is only spell. Ooh, that's actually kind of interesting, I think. I need all the fields from the spell table. I need all the fields from the spell table. Man, every time I have to do this myself, I think to myself, man, they could invest some more powerful stuff into Postgres.
I I feel the same.
Like, because it would be kind of nice that Postgres would just do the gigantic insert that I'm gonna have to do it by hand right now automatically, and just let me handle the ones that I know are gonna have conflicts. That would be very useful. Um,
Like
cost.
this is begging for us to write an extension to do it, right? I don't know how hard it would be.
That's very
I'm
fair.
serious.
Okay, let's copy these things and okay, so that works. And then spell destruction.
I'm back.
Spell destruction.
That's a very pacifistic function, Lemus.
Pacifistic.
On conflicts, do nothing.
Okay, so what do
This
I need
is
to...
immutable Postgres gang.
Okay, let's remove this thing. And
By
it's
the
gonna...
way, do you know? I learned this like I think this week. Do you know that Postgres, like you can actually define a function in Postgres to be immutable?
No!
But by default, every function is volatile, but you can actually specify and tell Postgres that a
Oh!
particular function is immutable. It's kind of crazy.
We are missing something important. Okay, copy this. Wait. Uh, wait, what? I did something bad. Oh no, the name is here. Okay. I didn't know that, Benavides.
Yeah, but apparently you need to really know when you're supposed to declare something as immutable because if it is not, guess what? Now it's 5 times lower.
Yeah. Yeah, but this game is a very mutable design game. That's for sure.
So would it be fair to say that if you mislabel something as immutable in Postgres, demons will fly out of your nose?
Oh, that's actually one of the things that one guy on Stack Overflow told on an answer. I was like, yeah, you better know what you're doing, otherwise you're fucked. Here,
Yeah,
let me
but
put the
is this
docs here.
it?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
Well, you are the Postgres Grandmaster.
Well, I don't know your hiring standards, but they are very low.
Isn't that supposed to be Mageta though?
Well, Mageta is the other Grandmaster.
Yeah, okay, so you are just creating a function that's going to update the spell, or that's going to insert a spell. Okay. On conflict, do nothing. But here's the thing, right? Should it really be on conflict, do nothing?
I don't know. That's actually the thing.
Yeah, because what are the spells? The spells are not supposed to be modified. Is that is that the behavior you want? Right? Yeah, that makes sense, right? No
That
one's
makes
supposed to
sense.
go there and
Yeah, but
modify
maybe
a
this
freaking
line is
spell.
required though, because you may have a name conflict, right? Because
No, no, yeah. Because if you do not have the on conflict, things will blow up
yeah.
if you try to insert the
So
same thing.
I
So,
think this line needs to change, and then we're gonna put name that. Yeah.
and then you forgot the. If you just want to update the name, though, yeah, you need to close the yeah the
Yeah, because the
semicolon.
name is the foreign key. So what is the relationship between this table and this? This name is the same as this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's
Yeah,
kind
and
of...
mm, we haven't initialized this yet, right?
No, we haven't.
Yeah,
All
we've
of
not
we are 1 hour and 40 minutes just brainstorming in a single file. That's basically what we're doing. We haven't
welcome to
done
the data
anything.
modeling game. Which is what maybe there should be like a one round where we just start. No. Here we do
No,
hardcore
we're
things.
gonna
We just
introduce some
model
spells
on
in here
call.
though.
We're
No, no, I
living in the
know.
database.
Yeah, I was going to say like, hey, maybe we should do a modeling document, an actual requirements document. No, this is like crazy game. We just do modeling on call.
No, but there
Right?
is a modeling document. It is just written in a very non-scientific way, which is this thing.
Oh, that's the lore, man. That's
Yeah.
not a.
How do you know there are no there aren't implementation secrets in this lore? How do you know? So conjuration. So now I need to understand what the conjuration table
I
has.
don't care about the lore. If this game becomes a thing, I want my own city state on the virtual. That's my deal.
Oh, and by the way, are you aware of the features that we want to implement into the presentation, by the way?
All I know is that we want zero to work, right? And we are supposed to have a well, the basic features where two people are concurrently playing a multiplayer session in a particular world and firing projectiles at each other.
Yeah, you're missing only one feature out of what you said.
Fun.
We also want to have the chat working.
Oh yeah, the chat. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
We
Although
want to have a
if
chat.
everything else is playing correctly, I think the chat will flow naturally, right?
That's the problem because the database stuff and the Erlang stuff, those are the ones that require the least amount of my time.
Hmm.
Usually, what takes the most amount of time is to make the client keep up with the database and the Erlang.
Hmm.
It takes a lot more time. A lot more time.
I don't know how familiar you guys are, but I am very curious to know. Like, I don't want to create problems just to use a solution, but I do wonder, would Minisia fit into this project?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Maybe.
Not maybe, Marin. We know this because of Canteen. It 100% will be a thing when we make it distributed.
Mhm.
But the source of truth is Postgres.
It is, but we're gonna have to have a way to allow, well, to not have inconsistent stuff all the way around. And to me, the solution to consistency problems is Mnesia. Am I wrong?
Why?
Well, because that's what I learned from using it. If I'm wrong, I understood it wrong then. The only issue though, which is what I think Marinho is going with, is that we would have to not use Postgres if we want to use Mnesia,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Hmm. Or at least Postgres will be reduced instead of having a lot of logic in it. Then it would be just like a bucket.
Spell destruction.
And I don't know what's worse, doing logic in Erlang or doing logic in Postgres sometimes.
Depends on what the logic is.
Yeah.
Depends on what the logic is. Wait, where are my functions? Yeah, those are here. Okay, so we're gonna do this thing. And I did wrong. There it is. Now I just replace destruction with conjuration and restoration. Okay, do you guys want to see if this works? I'm very excited. Let's go. So the first thing that I should do is probably to go to a separate branch. So check out first project, first spells, projectile. Okay. So now we use the down schema and just say bye. Oh, it was already done. Cool. And then I go here. What the heck? Oh, this doesn't exist anymore. Yep.
Well,
Uh,
if you want to, if the database is down, you could just try to, you can just run the Erlang server.
what do you mean the database is down? Just run Erlang.
Oh, sorry. If you drop it everything from the schema, you can just run the Erlang server because it does the migrations
Oh yeah,
automatically.
you merged that. Let's actually do that.
Yeah. And then it
Uh,
breaks live, and I'll be ashamed.
I have faith in you, and I tested actually, so I also have faith in myself.
Okay, so Tommy. Oh, error. Oh yeah, that's actually a SQL error in the new shit. That's cool.
Yeah, that's actually a SQL error in the new shit. So
And
it's
it
actually
rolled back.
saying no operator matches the given name and arguments. You might need to add explicit typecasts.
Okay, can you check if there's rollback was actually applied? like the.
Bad match.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So what happens was when we do the migrations, we actually check if all the commands you've run on the SQL script were okay, and if they are not, I hope you have a rollback so you don't have a partially initialized database. You see, partial state is
Oh,
like.
okay, no, but we don't have a rollback. That's the thing, right?
No, no. I hope we don't. Can you do a select on? Can you do a? Are you inside Postgres?
Yeah, this is inside my running instance of Postgres.
Oh no, no. Go to your shell there. Yeah. Are you inside an Erlang shell or inside a?
This is an Erlang shell.
Yeah. Can you drop out of the Erlang shell?
Uh,
Yeah. Now do just db.
oh, the terminal got nuked.
Oh
Oh
man.
man, I love this sentence so many pages.
Oh man. I got this tip from Victor. Just db. Okay. So can you do slash dt? No, the other slash. I hate that syntax as well. Okay. Slash dn. Oh, dn from name actually.
Oh,
This
DN.
list this yeah this list the schemas. Okay, so it didn't actually create the schema, so we have to fix the SQL. Oh,
No, no,
I'm
no. But
actually.
that's the thing. How can I? That's shit if that's the case. Because you know why? Ooh,
Mm.
because they doesn't tell me what's wrong. That's why the beaver
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so try
and
running
the
this on the
beaver is
beaver.
nuked as well. Thank you. Yes, I'm sure.
Obrigado, Nix Packages.
No, no, no. That was not the beaver. That's not Nix. That happens sometimes. I don't know why yet. What the fuck?
That's probably
This is
some
the
old F
problem.
file.
What?
What? No.
What? The quote is missing and everything else is green, bro. Okay,
Oh
so
my
where
god.
is the
Wait.
email check? It is in here. Where do
Oh,
we
it
have
seems,
the
it
email
seems like
check?
someone copy pasted. They didn't put everything. Please
Okay.
put a comma now.
No, miss the comma. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so at least in highlighting terms, this is fine, right? This is kind of fine. Okay, so what do you recommend, Benevides? Should we just Control Enter
Yeah,
right
just
now or
yeah, do a if you wanna do a big the problem
no
no
active
extra.
connection?
Oh, the dev env did the dev env get nuked as well? No, it's still up, running, and happy.
Maybe you should close it. Okay. So how do I? Oh, dbeaver again. This also happens sometimes, man. I don't know why. Let's try using the just server now.
Hmm.
So how do I exit this thing?
You just do Control C.
Control
Oh,
C?
Control
No,
D,
Control
sorry.
D.
Yeah, yeah.
So just server. Okay. It doesn't tell me where is wrong. Why?
Maybe man, that those are funky syntax error at or near whatever. Okay.
Yeah, it's not telling me shit.
So how about that's the annoying part of having one single big file. How about you try to create each and every one of this type? Like that's going to be boring.
I
Or
rather just use the beaver to debug this shit.
yeah, use the beaver, try to
Aha.
run everything.
Okay.
364.
Okay. So
Okay.
line 15. And I hate that doesn't have the line numbers, but this is not a full-blown text editor of respect. This is based on Eclipse, so it is what it is. So it's saying error position line 15, position 363.
Yeah, this would be much better if it was based on add.
If it was based on what?
Add.
Oh, the
Add
text editor?
the Unix
Yes.
text editor.
Hmm. Okay, so
Real
line
men
15,
don't
I
need
don't
text editors.
follow. This
They
is
do set in place every time when they edit text.
okay. Let's actually. drop the schema. Doesn't exist. Cool. And let's start doing what my Benevigi said. So let's just do this for now. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We are already past line 15. So stop telling me garbage. Okay. Um,
It's probably in. Mm-hmm.
works.
Mm-hmm.
Conjuration. Wait a moment. Why is this pink and this isn't?
Oh,
I'm not
wait
gonna
a
ask
second.
questions, man. It's Postgres.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No
Okay.
one
This shit
complained.
should work from before anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As we
Do we
broke
have
this in
username
place.
in here? We don't have username in here. So this should also work just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was
Input
working
functions.
before. This was working before. This was working before. Actually, I'm gonna. Oh, this is the syntax problem. Okay, found one. Found it, and it's broken. Okay,
Guess what?
so
Introducing thank you SQL parser for not warning me about this
for
crashes.
not fucking informing me.
Thank you IBM
God
for
damn.
designing COBOL for data.
Oh, I found the problem. Where is the username?
Oh
How
well.
was that removed? What?
Wait, you removed the username from the. Oh my god.
Oh, I
Oh, you
did.
removed it. Oh,
Congratulations.
I did.
congratulations, you played yourself. I
Okay,
need
so
pick make an intro
character,
now.
uh, not active characters, not that, yeah, that. Okay, so here we are missing this thing. Cool. Thank you. Replace editor content. Okay, let's drop the shit. No, let's drop the shit. And now let's try to run the shit. Aha! It doesn't tell me where. Come on, bro. Come on. Why? Why do you do this to me? Okay, so I'm gonna guess that this is after projectile, after all of this nonsense, because we already did it once. So I'm gonna guess it is on the at least starting from here. Okay, I'm gonna guess it's starting from there. Okay, so boom. Okay, everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah, I
So
was going to ask, like, is there really a natural join
it should
from
have.
the Lyceum character? Oh, okay, to the status. Yeah, yeah. This used to work before. Yeah.
Yeah, this should also work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't.
Oh,
Okay, so why this doesn't work?
wait. Can you go back to the other? No operator for
Yeah,
what?
operators doesn't exist. Lyceum spell type equals Lyceum spell destruction type. I have
Mm,
no idea what he's talking about.
oh, do you have different types? Maybe.
Yes, there are type things in both tables. So here, so you have a kind of the spell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which can be projectile, area, or buff.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a destruction kind. Oh, okay, there is a
They're the
conflicting
same
naming
column.
here.
Mm-hmm.
There is a conflicting naming.
Oh, me. Destruction kind.
Okay, we're gonna have
That's makes
to be a
sense.
little bit more clever with that. Same thing with this. Uh, restoration. And of course, because this is SQL, I need to go all the way to my functions and change them. Because SQL being SQL.
Is there a language server for
For
PostgreSQL?
probably, I'm not
Yeah, but
using it.
no, but I was going to say it's very hard to get tooling for SQL because well, it's very hard to get a parser working on. It's crazy language. Because if we had a language server running for SQL, then it would just be a matter of doing the rename on the language server. Then it would fix everything.
Okay, replace text editor. Okay, okay. So let's drop stuff. I'm feeling optimistic. Boom. Woo!
Whoa! Make
Okay,
sure to put
it
search.
worked. Bros, it worked. Now let's add some spells to the input script. Yeah, let's do that. Um, so what? I want only one spell for now. Uh, insert into Lyceum. Oh, but oh, we don't know, right? We don't know if the updatable views are a lie or not. We don't know yet. So we want
We're going to find
destruction.
out now.
What did you say?
We're going to find out about it now.
Yeah. So this is what we have. And what are the things that we need? What are the things? We need these things. Not that. We need these things. And we also need the specific stuff for destruction, which is these things. What those are wrong? This is wrong. Everything else is correct. And destruction is not well typed. Cool. So let's just add some choo spells. So this will be fireball. Uh, Something cool that Mageta will write about. Let's say that it costs 10. The duration is also 10. Actually, let's make the duration a lot, so then I can have this as a debugging tool in the client. So we also need a kind. We also need a kind. So this is projectile. So how do I do that? Oh, I need to do the stupid shit. That's very sad. Spell type, I believe. And we're gonna do projectile. It's very fucking sad that I need to cast this stuff. Uh, Lyceum. I think it's target type. Target. Spell target and spell type. And it is in caps. Does that matter? Do you know, Benevides?
Wait. What matters? The name of the
Yeah, if
tune?
this is in caps or not.
No, it doesn't matter.
I
No.
would like to think it's not. It doesn't matter. So this is singular. What is the base damage? Let's say 100. I don't know. What is going to be the damage kind? Um, so spell destruction type. Spell destruction type. Uh, Fire. Look at this line, bros. And then finally destruction. This was damage kind, right? No. This was target, singular, base damage, damage kind, and now destruction kind. Lyceum. I'm gonna guess. I'm not gonna guess. Magic. Okay, so I said it wrong. This is damage type, and oops, this is destruction type, and this is magic. Oof. Okay. And just to have another thing, this is gonna be ice ball, which is exactly the same thing. Okay, so let's go. Go to input. So the database was dropped, so I can do all of this theoretically, and I can't. Oh, because I introduced new stuff. That's why. I introduced new stuff. Uh-huh. So level. So the Lyceum character, email, username. I introduced three new things. Level, mana, and health.
Can't we put a default on this? This seems to be like a.
How can I put a default? That's actually a good thing.
I have to check the syntax, but yeah, this. Let me check real quick. Oh no, man. No, I don't want to alter table. Wait. Postgres default.
Okay, while you do that, I'm gonna just put the new things in here.
Yes, thankfully. So after everything, you just put this. So I don't know if you want to default to level 1, just put it like this.
Default one. Okay. So default what?
I don't know if it is before
Default.
or after the check, but yeah,
Okay. So let's open here.
let's see.
Replace. Drop stuff. It worked.
Wait, did it work?
It
Really?
worked. Yeah, it worked.
Oof.
And now let's try. And it didn't work.
Oh yeah, because try putting the check after the default. That was my
That's
concern.
stupid, but okay.
Yeah, not null, default one, check level greater or equal. Oh, greater or equal, perhaps? Okay, yeah, that's it.
Greater equal works. Let's see if that replace. Okay.
Why do people always seem to use greater than?
Because we had this discussion before. I'm gonna do it again. Okay, so now the inserts worked. Only this thing is now up to debate. Is the view working? No. Cool. So value too long for type character varying. Is that talking about the
Oh,
description?
probably the description. Yes. Oh my
Okay, so
god.
something cool.
Man,
Another
just
cool
put
thing.
266.
We can change that later. I just want this to work for now. I'm assuming this failed then. I'm gonna try it again. Okay. There is
Okay,
no unique or exclusion constraint matching on the onConflicted specification. What do you mean,
spell
brother?
destruction. What?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Huh, that's very weird.
Can you go back to the to that particular view? Let's see
No,
what's wrong
the
here.
view I think is fine. I think it's complaining about this thing.
Oh, maybe it's complaining about the second insert.
Why?
Well, let's see. Why are you updating the name to itself even though you have a conflict, right? It makes no sense. Because if it's on conflict, that's because they are already equal. So you don't need to do anything.
Oh, I think you're right.
I
So
don't know why this would be an error, but that looks weird indeed.
so you're saying to do this then?
Yeah, for now. That seems to be. Unless, yeah, but I don't think you want to modify the destruction spells.
I
There is
don't.
any conflict. Yeah, so it makes no sense. We should be just not do nothing. If the primary key is conflict, that's it. Just leave it as it is.
Okay. Boom.
Oh, wait. Can you go back to your? Okay, you are using create or replace function, so if you just copy these three functions and dump them again on dbeaver, it's going to work just fine because it's a create or replace.
Well, I already dropped the database, so
Ah,
it's the
okay.
same thing. Okay, now I'm gonna try everything. Yay!
Okay.
Okay, so we did it.
We didn't let it.
We implemented a very first draft modeling of spells and projectiles for the game. Okay, so final thing before we hop this up, because it's already 2 hours. How in the fuck are we gonna transition from a spell casting to a projectile spawning?
Wait. Can you repeat?
Yes. So there is a very intricate relationship between a projectile and a spell. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that is that once you cast a spell and like it happens, at the
Mm-hmm.
same moment we're gonna spawn a projectile out of that spell that you just casted.
Okay, so your question is whether this should be immediate
No, my question is
or
how are we gonna make this transition? Where are we gonna make this transition happen?
We need a start procedure.
no? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wait, I don't know if I follow. What is the store procedure?
Well, it's a procedure that's saved in the database and you can call it in a query.
Mm-hmm. The same way as a function, but functions return have return types. Stored procedures don't return anything.
But shouldn't that be a conditional store? Or am I mistaken?
What do you mean?
I mean that you should only like, how can I say this? When the spell is casted, we need to do some checks on it to see if this is the type of spell that spawns projectiles.
Well, there should probably be. This is going to be kind of cursed. We're going to do OO inside of Postgres.
Well, but you're already doing that. I said this already.
No. But we're actually going to do real OO inside of Postgres because we're actually introducing methods now. Um, Basically, each spell we need to have its own stored procedure that implements the spell's effect on the world.
Ah,
And then there will be
that's
a
the
top
thing.
level store procedure that says, okay, you're trying to cast this character is trying to cast that spell. So first of all, you need to check if you have enough mana to cast the spell, right? And if you do, then you deduce the mana cost, and then you actually call the specific procedure for that spell.
Wow. I just noticed another problem. How are we gonna know it is time to do all of what Marinho said?
Well, we're going to receive a request from the client saying, hey, I'm trying to cast a spell.
That's the thing. So, will the client do the countdown or will the server do that?
Count down for what?
For casting?
Well, the server needs to do it.
Yeah, casting
Fuck.
takes time. Yeah.
Okay, so. Fuck.
What if? Hmm.
Fuck.
What if he? What if the times runs out and then the server just?
No. If the time runs out, that's okay because as far as I can tell, we're gonna have this countdown needs to be saved. Holy fuck, we're gonna have to have another table for this specific thing, I think, because this is not the current countdown. This is like this is the recipe to make a spell. So it's gonna go for 30 seconds, and it's gonna require you 2 seconds of casting time. So your character will be like stuck in the same position doing some sort of animation for 2 seconds. Who will be doing that countdown? Marinho
Well, the
said the
server,
server.
well, the server needs to do it. Otherwise, the client can just not do it, right?
So we need to have a table that has a trigger when when the field representing the current cast time. Fuck. And then the trigger does what Marinho said. Saying? Is that okay? Is everybody following?
Yeah, but yes, kind of. But if you're going to have a table for that, you are already doing something kind of like a. Because for instance, you are casting a spell. You are casting a spell. You have a target, right? As well.
Well, depends. If it's a projectile, not I can just click on the mouse. What is the direction that I want the projectile to go?
Okay. Mm. Because what I meant was, okay, now you cast a spell. Now not only do you have to render a projectile, you also need to compute the result of the projectile hitting something or someone, and if it is someone, it has to be deducted
No, yeah, but that will
from that
happen
stuff.
given these stats, right? So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
velocity angle, which is another thing that I just got reminded. The projectile, when it hits a hitbox, it needs to inflict damage. The projectile doesn't know that.
Mm, yeah, the projectile needs to have some sort of on collision method. Let's use that word. That gets called when it collides with something.
I don't think so. I think it needs to have a relationship with the spell that it spawned. It's the projectile, because we have that information here. Look, this information
That as
is in
well.
here.
Yes, that as well. Yeah, that's something
Fuck.
that's missing from the projectile, right? It needs to know where it came from, like which spell spawned it.
So the ownership meaning is kind of composite. It's not only the ownership is about the character or the monster or the NPC, but it's also about what caused it to spawn, which in this case is a spell.
Yes,
Fuck. Dude. Dude, come on. Okay, so how to do that? How to do all of that?
magic.
How to do all of that? Do you have any idea on how to do that?
So, hmm.
Okay, so Benevides, you left. So let me explain to you what we concluded here.
No, no, I'll give me 2 minutes again.
Okay.
I just.
Ooh, bro. Bro. How the heck are we gonna do that, Maria?
Hmm.
We are getting very deep into how to model this in the database, man, because hmm, yeah, that's that's kind of insane actually. How are we gonna do this double? It's again the same case of a. Well, actually, that's a lie. That's not a tagged union case because we need both information, right? Both pieces of information. We need the information of the character or the one that casted, and we need the abstract notion that the spell was the one that spawned this projectile.
Yes, because one is what it is, and the other is who it belongs to.
Yeah. But how are we gonna do that? We need records. Are there records in Postgres?
I mean, you can just say, okay, this projectile needs to have another foreign key which references a spell of some kind.
Yeah, but a spell. Fuck. That's a problem. That's a very fucking problem. Because a spell only has a primary key as its name. But if I
So,
have the spell and you have the same spell, these projectiles are different. They are not talking about the same spell.
well, yes, they will have different owners.
Oh, but they kinda are, right? You are right. The owner is different, but the spell is the same. So I think it's fine, actually. Now that I think about it. Yeah, it's fine. So let's put spell. But this kind of means that the projectile can only exist given a certain spell, which is a lie, right?
I mean, normal attacks can be considered a kind of spell, right? Right? If you want to shoot an arrow at someone.
But doesn't that feel wrong? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Kickback.
throwing an arrow is not a casting a spell, man.
Well, it is. It's
Isn't
called
it?
physics. Spell
Anyway,
kind physics.
yeah, no. Let me explain to Bene the problem. So Bene, the problem is the following: we need a way to make a relationship between the projectile and the spell. Why? Because once the duration of the until the duration goes to zero, which by the way is something that I should put as a check. Duration. Okay. Until the duration goes to zero, well, that's the worst case scenario, right? It reaches zero. If it encounters something in the middle of the path, that's also okay. Which, by the way, at some point, I mean, that's gonna be so fucking cool. Path function. Okay. Anyway, for now it's just gonna be a straight line, right? So anyway, it doesn't matter. We need a way to make a connection between the projectile and the spell. Why? Because once the projectile hits something, we need to inflict the damage. That means that you need to have the spell name, which is its primary key here. But then it came the problem. Doesn't that mean that all projectiles need to be from a spell?
Okay, can maybe I didn't get everything, but can't we get a composite type? Like, isn't this better represented as a composite type? If I remember correctly, I have, for instance, I have my Postgres types, which are like some very simple record-like structures. Okay, so I have a type for spell, or oh, but now we have oh no, we have tables. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's different.
This is very
Uh,
hard. Fuck. This is very hard.
No, I do wonder though if it really made sense to create tables for the spells and not create a type for the spells and then just have a
No, but we do have type for spells.
we do, but that's like the enum type, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not what I mean. So Postgres has this thing where you can actually create a record-like structure for types.
Mm.
I just dropped the link here. It's called composite types, and then you can actually like create a type that kind of looks like the row of a table, and then when you insert it, you just insert with a the row keyword. You see. So for instance, yeah, this you have complex, and then you have an inventory item, and then you have a table called on hand, which can be an inventory item and account. And then when it goes inserting, if you go down there, you insert like a row of an inventory type up there.
Up.
Yeah,
Where's the
the
insert?
up there.
Oh,
Yeah,
here.
insert into on hands. You see, that's how they're
Oh.
inserting it.
Okay, so the answer to my question was yes, we do have records in Postgres, but how can we use them to solve this particular
Yeah,
problem?
I'm thinking, how can we solve it without redesigning the
Can we
whole thing?
have optionals in these things? Not in these things, in these things.
That's a good question. By optionals, you mean things that can be no, or
Well, yes.
uh, uh, I wish we had.
Magetta is gonna kill you, Lemos, if you do that.
Don't do
Yeah,
it.
but man, how are we gonna not bind projectiles to spells, not aside from putting things as nullable? I don't follow. Because one thing is for certain, right? We're gonna have to have an owner. A projectile cannot have no owner. That's fine. But a projectile can happen without having a spell. I don't buy the idea of having an arrow as a spell. I don't buy that.
Can it happen without an action causing it to exist?
No.
There you have it. A spell is a type of action, but it's not the only one.
Ah, interesting. So you're proposing then that we should have an abstraction that wraps a spell. Uh-huh. Yeah, but then we need tagged unions, and I still don't have an answer from Magetta. Does Postgres provide tagged unions? Like, because that's exactly what we need, right? If it's a spell action, we have a spell. If it's a throw action, we have a throw. If it's a weapon, we have arrow. Well, if we have a weapon, we can have an arrow or something. Fuck, this is getting very deep, very fucking deep. Yes, you can save it. Okay, I'm gonna commit my stuff. So add first modeling for spells and projectiles. I'm gonna push that.
Yeah, the hope Magetta doesn't hear this, but maybe we can have tagged something like a tagged union, but then we would have to allow no into certain fields
But
because
that's
we would be
exactly
able
what I
to,
was thinking, man. That
yeah, because we would be able to emulate using constraints, right? So we would have the fields there, but some of them would have to be no, but then we would put constraints. If something is of a certain kind, then you would kind of emulate a tagged union.
yeah,
But that
but that
is
sounds kind
cursed.
of cursed. Not gonna lie.
It is, yeah, it's cursed.
Okay, I'm gonna finish the recording now.
Hmm.